Today on the Casual Culinary, we're making a sandwich, but not just any sandwich. Today we're making the Cubano. This one is full of flavor and it's super easy to make. Come along and I'll show you how to make it. Welcome back, Casual Cooks. My name is Josh, and this is the channel where we have bold flavors, low stress, and a fun casual time making good food. Today, we're gonna be making a simple meal. We're gonna be making a sandwich. I've forgotten how good sandwiches are, but not an easy sandwich, so to speak, not a peanut butter and jelly or something like that. Today, we're making a Cubano. We're gonna do a few different ones in some upcoming episodes as well, but this one has a wonderful style, and I'm gonna go ahead and do this on the griddle. But you can do it a lot of different ways and I'll walk you through it. It's a really easy, simple sandwich with some big, bold flavors that only takes a little bit to make. So I'm gonna be using the griddle to do this today, but there's lots of different ways. You can use a cast iron skillet. You don't even have to toast the bread. But the way I like it and have gotten it at different restaurants is panini style. So I'm gonna use the griddle and a little bit of a panini press to be able to push it down at the end. That's the only reason I'm using it. A Cubano sandwich normally has mustard, dill pickle, some Carnitas or kind of pulled pork, but we're going to do it with a unique, quick, easy shortcut, and ham and Swiss cheese. So that's everything that's going in it. And then you squish it all together and get it nice and panini style with a nice crispy style bread on the outside. So I'm going to get the griddle started up to temp, and then I'm going to start putting the Carnitas on the griddle. I'm going to use the Carnitas that we made, if you remember watching in the ramen episode. This is just store-bought. You can spend all day slow roasting some type of pulled pork. I didn't want to do that. So this is real easy. You can heat it up in the microwave. But like I said, I'm going to put it on the griddle so it gets nice and crispy and crunchy. And then also I made this marinade that I just threw together, but you can also get, let me show that to the camera. I'm also going to tell you how to make it by putting the recipe up in a little bit. But there's some really good condiment that you can buy where it's already pre-done. All right, when I griddle, I like to keep it in different zones. So I'm gonna leave this one on kind of the high. We're actually not even gonna go for a high. I'm gonna put this more on like a medium high for these two areas. And then this I'm gonna put on a very big low. And this one I'm actually gonna turn off. I do heat it up just to originally get it hot because I don't wanna warp the grill. So at least it all gets up to temp, and then I can make different zones from it. Putting a little avocado oil over the entire thing. It's been so hot recently that I haven't actually been out to the griddle very much. I'm cooking here in Southern California. It's probably about 85 right now, but in the last couple of days it's been in the 90s, so I haven't wanted to been out cooking. We've got that oiled up. Again, this pulled pork is just stuff that I buy right from the store, so you could heat it up in the microwave. I'm just going to go ahead and do it here. So I'm going to put that down and get this kind of broken up here in a minute. I just took it out of the fridge, so it's still a little cold. So that fat that's been in there that's already rendered when it was pre-cooked is what's kind of keeping it a little hard for me to break up. But once it hits that heat, that fat's going to re-render and make this thing really nice. But I just want it, I'm not going to here to cook it again. I'm just here to kind of get it nice and browned up. All right, we're gonna let that get nice and browned up for a few minutes, and then we will start to assemble. I forgot to address the fact that I have no hair anymore. So, if you've been watching the channel for a little while, I decided to shave my hair. It was getting a little that length again where I decided it was the summer due. So, go ahead and leave me a note in the comments whether you like it or not. I won't take offense to it, but it's a lot easier to get ready, I'll tell you that. And we're gonna go ahead and give this a little bit of some turning to be able to make sure it doesn't burn. We're just looking to get that hot and get some of those things nice and charred. In fact, look at this. You can see kind of browning. And it smells really good. All right, so this, if you're looking for the condiment when you're in the store, I'm going to put this up on the screen, but it is something called mojo. I forget how it's spelled. I'm going to put it up there for you. Mojo-inspired. I'm sorry if I'm not saying that the right way, but it's a little bit of citrus and spice that kind of adds a little bit extra flair to the pork. And I just mix this up. It basically has orange, like juice of fresh orange, juice of fresh lime. It's got some garlic, some salt, some pepper. It's got some cumin. It's got some oregano and a little bit of olive oil. So that's what I got going in here. And it's just to kind of zhuzh up the pork that is already sitting here. So I'm just going to add some of that on there. Give it a little more flavor. Oh, it just went to smelling so good because I added that. But it's just another way of adding a little bit more flavor with a quick shortcut. Again, you don't have to make it yourself. You can just do this from store-bought. Leave that down for a few more moments. And then I'm going to move it over. And I'm going to steal a little bite. It's probably hot. That's good enough to eat on its own. Look at that brown that it has on the other side. That golden brown looks so good. I'm just going to kind of flatten it out again one more time real quick. All right, while that's finishing up, I'm going to start taking out the things that I'm going to need for the sandwich. I'll get into the bread a little bit. I just picked up some hoagie rolls. You want something that's got a really good push or give. You don't want something that's really dense or too firm because we want to push this down. So I just went and got hoagie rolls. You could do Italian bread. I couldn't find any authentic Cuban style bread. You could probably use like a French bread. And then we're going to be adding mustard. We're going to be adding dill pickle slices. We're going to be adding some ham. This is just ham store-bought. And some Swiss cheese. So I'm going to get that out right there. Let's see how the pork is finished up. Look at this brown. I'm going to move this over to the camera for a minute so that you can see this. Oh, look at this. Nice and browned up. So good. And I'm just going to put that right over there. Slide it over. Again, on my griddle, this is not on. That part's already off. And I'm going to move it right over. So it shouldn't be getting a whole lot of heat. It's going to be sitting, and I'm going to move this down to just a really low medium. And let's scrape that off a little bit. All right, let's build the sandwich. So first thing I'm going to do is start with the bread. I'm just going to, the hoagie was already pre-cut, so I'm going to get that going. And I'm actually going to tear it wide open for a minute. I'm going to add the mustard on both sides. There's going to be a lot of meat on here, so you're not getting, it may look like, wow, he just added a ton of mustard on there. Not really. You want it to come through, and by the time all the meat's on there and the sauce, you're not really going to get a lot of that mustard flavor. So I'm going to even put a little more on. Now I'm making kind of a traditional version of this. You can customize it. If you want mayonnaise, you could eventually add mayonnaise, or you could put lettuce or tomato or onions, but that's not what the traditional type is for the Cubano. So I'm going to do it the way that I eat it when I order it out. We've got the mustard. Next thing I'm going to do for assembly is add Swiss cheese, and I'm going to add Swiss to the top and the bottom. So I've just picked up some store-bought Swiss cheese. And I could actually leave it hanging off. Why not? Let's do it. Let's leave it hanging off. Perfect. So we got 4 things of cheese on there. And I have too much food. I'm having some friends over, and I'm going to make them some a little later. So I have way more for a double recipe than I need to show the camera. All right, here we go. This is just regular smoked deli meat ham. And let's see, how do I want to do it? I don't want too much of that hanging off because remember, we're going to put this on the griddle and we're going to kind of panini style press it. So I don't want too much of that stuff getting off on the side and burning. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more. So I'll go with 4 slices per sandwich. But that is only the smoked ham. Now we're going to put some of these dill pickle. I just have the dill pickle stacker chips. You could just cut them up yourself if you wanted to. But I'm going to take out 2 slices of these. Doesn't look like that one got fully cut, so leave that on the side. Come on. Apparently I should have grabbed a different one. This doesn't look as good as it could, but that's the whole point of being casual. Doesn't have to be perfect. I can promise you it's going to be tasting excellent. All right, and then what we're going to put on top of that is the actual pulled pork that we've been cooking over here. So I'm going to take some of this over here. Not sure how much we need. I don't want any of that to fall over, but I'm going to put that right on the top, encasing that pickle in there. This is hot for now, so let me get a little bit more. Oh God, this smells, I'm just not even kidding. I wish there was smell-o-vision. This smells so good. I'm gonna get a little bit more. It's not about stacking a ton of meat on here. You're gonna press it down. You want a kind of good bread to meat ratio on this. So I think that's about enough on there for now. And then we are just going to close this bad boy up and give it a little press. Let me show you what this is looking like. Oh, is that not heaven? Oh, this is so good. All right, next, we're going to need a little butter because we're going to put this on here panini style. So let me see. Here's the butter. I'm going to put a little bit of butter on the griddle. And then I'm also going to put some of this butter on the top of the sandwich because we're going to be pressing this. So I'm going to move this over and I'm going to put it right on. And then I picked up one of these presses. You could get these at like Walmart. You get this online, but it's just kind of a heavy press. You don't have to have all these fancy things. You could literally wrap a brick in aluminum foil and still do this. And we're just going to set it right there to where it's kind of balanced. And give it a little press down. And I'm going to try to leave it for about 3 minutes. We don't want it to burn or anything again, so I'm going to keep an eye on it, but maybe about 2 or 3 minutes. We're going to flip it, add a little bit more butter to the top and bottom, take it off, and that's it. We're going to be ready to eat. So give me a minute. I'll keep watching this and flipping it in about 2 or 3 minutes. All right, it's been about 2 minutes. Let's see where we're at. All right, I'm going to pry up the bottom and just take a look. Oh yeah, bottom is done. So we're going to flip this thing over. Oh, not even kidding. So good. So about 2 minutes is what it took. Put a little bit more butter on there. And put that plate on for about another minute or 2. And give it a little push down. So we'll wait about 2 more minutes. And then it's time to taste. All right. It's been about 2 minutes. So I'm going to take off and see where we're at. Let's take a look at the sandwich. Perfect. Let me slide this off and onto the plate. And I'm going to put that side on the top. Oh, so good. Let me be sure I put these all on low. Look at this. Oof. See if I can, it's burning hot. If I can put that up so that you guys can see. Oh, so good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut this open so you guys can see the inside. Use a different, better knife. Oh, look at this. You can see all the layers. You can see the ham. You can see the pork. You can see the cheese, the mustard, the pickle just sitting in there. Absolutely great. Let me get this back on the plate. Oh, I can't wait to dive in. All right, let's give this thing a taste. I've been looking forward to this so much. See how it compares to the one that I get out. Again, you can see all of those wonderful flavors. Oh, it's literally dripping. This thing is so good. And let's go in for the bite. Holy Havana. This is amazing. You get everything in that bite. I even taste the sauce. Excuse me. I even taste the sauce that we put in that gave a little bit more flavoring. to the pork, and then the ham is there. The Swiss is just melted perfectly. You get that mustard bite still a little bit, and the crispiness of the bread is awesome. Mm. So simple. And I'm going to be coming up with a few different sandwiches that I already have planned in store for you guys. So you definitely want to subscribe so you can get those when I put those on. This is great. I hope you try and make this. I'd love to see some comments. I'm not getting a lot of comments on if you guys are making it or how you do it differently. I'm really open to the feedback. I'd like to see what it is that you guys would do differently, or if you've made it yourself, how you find it tastes. So please, if you haven't, give a like, maybe give a comment, and subscribe so that you can get aware of future notifications when we come out with videos. Until I see you next time, remember, keep it casual.